Well, hello, everybody, and greetings from the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards, along with Donnie Moore, Coach Ray Trail, and special guest Tony Iruli. And this is the Sports Page. And now let's set today's lineup card, sponsored by the Blunt Partnership. Tennessee heads to Auburn to see Bruce Pearl and his Tigers in a huge SEC matchup, and we're going till the whistle blows. It's the University of Tennessee Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Arts SEC Notebook, with volunteer legends Ray Trail and special guest Tony Iruli. Tennessee basketball will be the focus, and we'll join the Go-To Sports Page panel. Donnie Moore will announce the high school scores from around the area, and then mark it down with yours truly, Marcus Fitzsimmons, sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty. Today we'll be featuring Alcoa basketball fresh off their regional championship win. The Anderson Lumber Company High School Player of the Week will be announced, and we'll have gold medalist Hayden McDonald and bronze medalist Thomas Tedell joining us to recount the state wrestling championships. Donnie Moore and the panel discuss sports headlines from around the country before the Tennessee Smokies spotlight shines on Tennessee Vol baseball and the Lady Vols basketball in the SEC tournament. And finally, the panel gives the Shelter Insurance bold predictions for the week, and we're going to keep that one a surprise up until the final whistle. And now it's
now.
and now it's time for the UT Sports Report, sponsored by the Cherokee Group and the Klein Dental Art SEC Notebook, featuring former UT coach Ray Trail and Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Iruli filling in this morning. Guys, thanks for being here.
It's always great to be a filler in, sitting next to Ray, and learning another new story or two every day.
Well, there's a few stories around we hadn't told yet.
Well, we're not going to tell them today.
That's right.
And we're not going to get it.
That's right.
Just because Mike is gone doesn't mean you all get to behave badly.
This is still a family-oriented show, so we will continue to do that. Brought my grandson Anthony here, and he's going to wave to us. And
Everybody wave at Anthony.
You might get a later interview later on.
Well, let's start off this
guest.
morning.
Might be a guest.
He
might
could
be
be.
a
He
guest.
might
He
provide
could
some commentary,
Yeah.
insightful thoughts. He's already he gave me a couple about his grandpa already this morning. So,
But you already knew that.
there were no surprises in the nuggets
That's
he
right.
dropped, but I was
None
glad he
whatsoever.
dropped them. Let's talk about Vol basketball. We've got the trip to Auburn today. Let's kind of recount what happened last week. Thursday night, big win defeat, Arkansas 75-57. Costly win, too. Zy Ziegler went down, and as we found out on Wednesday, he tore his ACL. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. Huge loss for the Vols.
Sure.
Your premium point guard, your penetrator, your
Best player.
Yep. Signal caller.
arguably best player,
I mean, to me,
But,
he's one of the best players.
lockdown defender on top of all that.
Yep.
I mean, Tennessee's had so many injuries that they've had to deal with, and it's hard to get a consistent lineup now. And and I know that Coach likes to go into his depth in his players, using a lot of players, but his main guys, he's losing the main guys now.
Well, I tell you what, it was did you see it happen?
Yeah, yeah.
It just looked like he slipped.
Yep.
I mean, he was coming down the baseline there, and it looked like he just slipped and fell on the floor.
Just took a step.
But I've never seen, on all the games, as much water on the floors, and I've never seen them have to mop more than I've seen this year. I don't know what it is.
Yeah, I know. They
But
did a lot of mopping.
it seems like every time they have a play, they have to stop and mop the floor.
Guys are sweating and laying out on the floor. They got to come up and dry it up. And as a coach, I know it's real frustrating. Even in football, where I've had several players where they just running a route on open air or making just a simple cut, and bam, they go down and grab that knee, and they come up with an ACL, and you're saying to yourself, how in the world did that happen? And it's
I
just
don't know.
It's the way it happens sometimes.
It
It's
used to
very
be.
frustrating.
It used to be usually if you saw somebody go up, whether they were dunking, rebounding, jumping, it was when they came down. But not anymore. Now it's on those cuts, and now it's
Sure.
a lot more on trying to break one direction to the other than it used to.
Yeah,
be.
you would see a person like you said going up for a dunk a lip, and when they come down, you see that knee kind of buckle back, and he goes down. And you say, yeah, he kind of messed it up, but now you're seeing a lot more guys, just. And again, it's compared to 15, 20 years ago, the speed of the game has changed so much. Where these guys are faster, and so when they cut, the ligaments still are the same, and so you're seeing a lot of these more I call them open air type of injuries, and it's football, basketball.
I wonder about have they changed the surface on the floor? Too much waxing and everything. If the floor is just like this right here, I mean, it's you have no grip, or there's something missing. I don't know what it is, but I've never seen as many people fall down, slide, and everything. And then every time they do that, they have to run out there on the floor and mop. And I've never seen it that much.
Well, I think the basketball end, the floors are so well finished with all the coatings that they put on it.
That's what I'm talking about.
And those guys that are playing, I mean, they're sweating a lot out there.
Oh, I know.
And they go on the ground. The sweat lays up there on the floor. It all takes a little bit of moisture, where a person steps on that, and they just.
I've got another theory about this, and I totally could be wrong, but at this point, that floor only gets played on during games. For the most part, they pull it out there, they shoot around on it before the game, and then they play on it.
Yeah.
Because they're over at Pratt Pavilion, where they have a whole separate building where they run practices.
Correct.
I think it's maybe kind of like NASCAR. Nobody's laying down any rubber during practice during the week like they did on that floor.
Yeah, I agree.
For years and years.
Sure.
And I think that may keep it slick.
Yeah, I mean, there's like you said, there's no kind of wear and tear on it, and so there's no grip to it.
There's not enough shoe rubber on it. That's what
they varnish it. Is that what they do? They varnish it with coating on top.
Yeah.
And, probably a couple times during the season and all, and it is slick. You're absolutely right.
That could be.
Watching that game, Arkansas just never seemed to get this together against Tennessee.
No.
Tennessee's defense started from the very beginning, locking down everything Arkansas wanted to do, and I don't think Arkansas ever made a move to kind of counter what Tennessee was doing from them when you watch that one.
No, they were totally out of the game to start.
They were bum-fuzzled, weren't they?
Yeah, I mean it's.
They like that word.
That's
Totally impressive. I couldn't spell it, but yeah, that was very impressive.
I can't say it. But anyway, I just thought it was a mismatch start to go.
And we're kind of talking about Ziegler here. He was, on top of everything else we're talking about, defensively, you've got some people that can fill in that gap that can play at the point guard.
Right.
But the scoring, especially from his ability to penetrate and hit the big three, those are going to be hard for Tennessee to fill.
Yeah.
You got to think.
And I'll tell you what, going to play at Auburn would be, even with him, it would be a war down there.
Well, it's going to be a very tough physical contest, and
Yeah.
Losing probably your best player,
It's kind of like losing the quarterback in a football game.
Sure.
I mean, that's about what he was.
But, Ray, you've been around. If this is equivalent to, going into the last game of the season, playing for a championship, and then having your quarterback go down.
That's exactly right.
Have you ever seen something like that? I mean, this is some of the worst timing you could possibly imagine.
Absolutely the worst time. Not only to go to play Auburn, time to go to the tournament, start the playoffs. And
but
that's a lot to overcome, really.
Yeah.
Like you say, you lose your quarterback, you're hurting.
Yeah, and you look at the entire season for Tennessee basketball, the ups and downs that they've had. They've reached the high point where they were ranked number 2 in the nation, and as soon as they got number 2 in the nation, then they dropped a couple. And the last 2 weeks, they're playing probably the toughest part of their entire schedule. So they've been up and down, and so and then to kind of top everything off to have this injury just really it's just going to make it tougher for them right now, especially now they're going down to Bruce Pearl country, where you know
it's
that's going to be jacked
tough
up
with
a little
everybody
bit.
there.
Yeah.
Let alone having that happen to you.
Yeah.
Lose your quarterback before you go to play somebody that they're going to give it their best shot.
Yeah.
And it was a close win up here.
Yeah.
With the home court advantage.
Sure. Yeah. Wasn't it a low-scoring game? Wasn't it like,
well, it was one. It was. What does Mike used to say? It
48 to
brutally
40.
ugly.
Yeah.
I know what he'll call it. It's going to be waller ball.
Waller ball. Thank you, Donnie. But I don't think anybody broke 60 in that game. But look at the candidates we got here. You got Tamari Key, who's hurt. You've got Vescovi, who ran the point before Ziegler got here, so he's got the experience of doing it. But
he'll have to take it.
It's a different look with him running the point.
Sure,
Yes,
sure.
it is.
Not the same deal.
And plus, he doesn't get the shots to set himself up, with the other guy running the thing. He had a chance to go get open on the side and stuff like that. Now he's going to have to shoot on the run or pass it or.
Sure.
I mean, that's the two top scorers, and one's totally out and the other one's got to switch back. That's a tough go.
And you've got Josiah Jordan-James, who his freshman year played point.
Yeah.
But then again, he's missed been in and out all season long with injury, so we don't know how durable he is. But he's one that can take the ball to the basket. He's got that scoring potential, but he's also been doing it off the ball all season when he has been in. And then you've got Meshack, who might be asked to step up in this committee alignment that Coach Barnes is talking about using. But, I mean, you can say the upside is you're versatile and you've got the depth to give people different looks, but on the downside is you don't have an All-American point guard out there.
Correct.
And that's like taking Johnny Unitas out and putting somebody else in and saying, "Oh, we're about the same." No, you're not.
Yeah. Well, coach will, like you said, he'll use 2 or 3 different type of combinations and see what's going to be the best fit for what they're doing offensively. And he's so there's a known going into the game, and he's not really going to find out what clicks, what works the best until they actually see the action during the game.
And when you've got that, I mean, we've seen him pull people before.
Yeah.
You get pulled for your defensive lapses. Well, Ziegler was one that hardly ever got pulled for a defensive lapse. Well, now you've got all 5 positions that are likely to be coming out as soon as they get a chance for letting somebody go by. And that can affect your consistency is what's going on as well.
Yeah.
Well, the whole thing is a mess-up because, first of all, you lose your player, then you have to go. If you were playing at home again, it would be better.
Correct.
But to have to travel to Auburn, who doesn't really like us that much, and
I think that feeling could be mutual. I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, he has a point that he can say I've been there, you can't. He's been here and got run off, so to speak, and it's a acorn in his shoe. I'll guarantee you that. And to beat Tennessee makes his year.
And he doesn't care who's there, who's not there, or whatever.
He don't care about anything.
Yeah.
He's going out there to win the ball game, and while you try to figure out who you gonna put in.
And really, there are very few people left at UT that Pearl worked with. I mean, you think about it. I mean,
what was that, 10 years ago now?
Yeah, I mean, you've got different AD, different athlete. I mean, we've had several ADs.
Several head coaches.
I mean,
football coaches.
There's very few of the Lady Ball staff is there.
Yeah.
That was there then. Football has completely changed 3 times.
Sure.
it's not like he's got like people he used to just be down the hall from him that are still wandering around the building that he can.
Nah, but it's Tennessee to him.
But it's Tennessee. It's Tennessee to him. Well, yeah.
I don't care who it is. It's Tennessee.
The irony is not lost that
no.
everything that he got in trouble for is now legal.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
a matter of timing and circumstance, he could be enjoying year 20 at Tennessee at this point.
Nowadays, the money in the McDonald's bags
Oh.
would be legal. So it's
what is illegal?
it's hard to find.
It's difficult to, difficult to find.
I mean, what's
It
illegal?
is like they say. It is the Wild West out there.
Yeah,
Anything.
I mean, I don't really understand the.
I don't think you can throw cash on the courts at the players. I might be wrong, but I don't think that's legal.
Yeah.
Oh, I mean, you can see them walking off the floor, and some guy comes by and sticks $100.
Well, that's
bill.
why that's why they get them off the
there.
floor so quick.
Yeah. That when you played, that's what they used to do.
Yeah.
Now they just hand it to them as soon as they walk. That's right.
They walk through the alley. They're going back to the.
Yeah.
Well,
That's one thing at Carson Newman we don't have to worry about.
Well, last Saturday after we got off the air with our bold predictions about it, and concern on somebody's part, who shall remain nameless, about the boogeyman that South Carolina might represent, Tennessee looked like the Tennessee we saw a month ago, just tearing South Carolina apart, 85-45. Never in the game. South Carolina didn't. I don't know if it was the same team that took Alabama to overtime 3 days earlier, but I'm going to guess, Ray, that this was one you and Mike like to talk about, the game after the big game.
Yeah, that's a tough go. I tell you what, it's hard to keep that level when you're playing against the top in the country, and it's not just a personal thing here. As you go along, it's you playing the best people in the country, and that's a tough goal.
Yeah, and then to follow up, with another, with the Tennessee, a lot of people say it's the second or third best team in the SEC, and you really expected more coming from South Carolina after that.
Yeah,
really outstanding game against Alabama, but it wasn't there, and that again, that's what Tennessee. You don't know what you're getting either, because all of a sudden now they play against South Carolina, who just took the number one team to the very end, and now they blew them out. And so it's Tennessee. They're not hard to say that they're hard to figure out isn't the right thing. It's just that they're just kind of up and down, and they've had to deal with so many things off the court with injuries and stuff, and but they did do a good job of playing against South Carolina. Took it to them.
Well, the thing you can notice was just that was, again, what we've seen a couple times. Josiah Jordan James is back in the lineup, back healthy.
Yeah.
Scores 18 points and filled all those gaps where there were might have been empty possessions before Tennessee was putting it in the basket.
Right.
They weren't wallering when he was with him in the lineup against South Carolina.
He was a difference maker. He certainly was in that game.
And that kind of circles back to, like, if he is healthy, if he is truly healthy, or if there is an impetus of some sort that without Ziegler he needs to be healthy.
Right.
What does that do to Tennessee's lineup with him out there consistently in this last couple of games?
Well, it gives stability, in what was missing while he was gone, but at the same time, now you got another void that you got to, fill up. So it's like, you're putting together a puzzle, and here's the puzzle piece to finish the puzzle, but then all of a sudden you lose another piece. And so that you can't quite finish that entire picture. And
that's a tough thing to do when and then you playing against somebody that's going to play a good game against you. They're going to give you everything they got, because they'd love to just smack Tennessee really good.
Yeah.
And just for old time's sake, so to speak, for Pearl, but that it doesn't fit with you players. They don't get that same. They don't have anything to do with Pearl. They don't even know anything about him. But deep in his heart, he's like, I'd like to win this game, really.
Sure.
And you know, when these teams met a month ago, they both at that point they were, I think, both tied for second in the conference. They both had 2 losses behind Alabama. But between now and then, they both dropped a couple games, and they're both in that position where you're playing for seeding next week, and Tennessee's in that contention where they really need to win this for momentum and to stay in that top 4.
Yeah.
To get that double bye.
There's a lot going on in the game. This is a big game. I mean, there's a lot of things resting on it, and finding out how your team is going to react by losing your point guard, your kind of the quarterback of the whole outfit.
Well, I'm going to read. Mike had a note for me here. What does Tennessee have to do today to get the win? And number one is take the crowd out of the game by controlling the tempo and wallering early. Don't let Auburn run off to 9-point lead on you.
Yeah, I agree. You know, the start of the game is going to be real critical. You know, like you just mentioned, if Auburn jumps up to a 9-10 point lead in the first, 5, 6, 7, 8 minutes of the game, that's now you're putting yourself in a tough position. Take the crowd out of it. Take the momentum away from Bruce Pearl. I think that's going to be a major key towards Tennessee having an opportunity to get a win. And if Tennessee shows they're right with them the whole time and they're playing tough and physical against them, then it's going to be a whole different type of game.
So if you're going to waller, go ahead and start wallering early. That's what we're going to say here. Is don't let anybody run away from you. If you can't get off to a good start, don't let Auburn get off to a good start on you.
That's right. And
It's
like the last game they played. Neither one got off to a good start the entire game.
That's right. I mean, and it's going to be a game for Tennessee to try to figure out now which is the best 5 to get out there together. And you're going to have to move some people around and substitute, which that's one of my big things with Tennessee is we substitute so much that I don't. But somebody's going to have to step up.
Well, they're used to coming off the bench and expecting to play well. Again, with this injury, it'd be nice if Tennessee was one. If they would have been playing at home and against a lesser of an opponent, that way they can figure out the new type of combination. Instead, they're going down in a tough environment down at Auburn, and now they got to try to figure out playing against a quality opponent and a crowd that doesn't care too much for Tennessee, and so so that's a big challenge for them. But I would say the players at Tennessee, they're used to coming off the bench and expecting them to make a positive impact on the team in the game, and so they're kind of used to coming off that bench and playing.
Well, let me predict you, because you've all seen the coaches, and I think this is kind of universal. You all have seen players, different field, but I think this is something that translates sports. You've got a situation where somebody is going to be starting that has not usually been starting.
Correct.
And they're under this thing that we've said several times here, and they've probably been hearing for the last 3 days. Somebody's going to have to step up.
Yeah.
When you have that situation, how often do you see that guy put too much pressure on himself, or that other guy put too much pressure, trying to do too much and play beyond what they really should be able to try to do? Mm-hmm. How do you see that happen where they go outside themselves and take the shot they shouldn't take, or try to make the play that really isn't their play to make, trying to do too much to compensate?
Yeah, I think that's a normal procedure right there. You're talking about a guy that has not done this, so he's trying to prove himself more than he needs to. He needs to rely on the guys that have been playing and try to figure out where he fits in. Mm-hmm. Don't go out there and start shooting the ball and thinking just because you got it, I got to shoot it.
Yeah.
You don't. You got to. That's the bad part about not having time to adjust the guy in and make him think, hey, you're not Ziegler. You know, don't try to imitate him.
Right. Don't try to replace him.
Yeah.
Do what
you're good at.
That's right. Right. And guys coming in that type of situation,
Yeah.
A lot of times they try to do a little bit too much, and I'm sure that's been talked to with the guys coming in now that hey, play within yourself, play towards your strength. Know this is how we run things offensively, defensively, and if you perform to what you're capable of doing, we'll be all right.
Well, you need to try to fit in.
Right.
Try to fit in to the other guys, and don't make them try to adjust to you. You don't want 4 trying to adjust to 1. You want 1 trying to adjust to 4.
Correct.
And I think the point we'll see that if this is the game type of game we expect, is if Tennessee is turning the ball over. Because Ziegler has been the key to them not turning it over and holding on to that ball.
Sure.
And 9 or 10 turnovers is about what you can expect in a game, but Tennessee turns it over 15 or 16 times today. They're not going to win, and it's going to be very obvious where the problem is.
Right.
But let's see. You got Auburn fighting for the NCAA tournament line. They're on that bubble of in or out.
So they got them, obviously, not only that because they're playing Tennessee, but they got high motivation to play well because one's going to get them better seeding for the tournament and an opportunity that if they go ahead and get a couple wins in the tournament, an opportunity for them to be playing in March.
And how much is this one going to affect? The frame of mind that Auburn has to have. They were up by 16 on number 2 Alabama and blew the lead. How much is that? How much is getting that out of their mouth going to be on the line today as far as what they're trying to do? Because that's got to be hanging in their brain that we had a chance to not only beat number 2 but run number 2 out of the building.
Well, the thing is, you can't. That game is over.
Yeah, for us it is, but for the players,
for the players it is too. You play 30-something games a year. You can't sit there and talk about what would happen.
Yeah.
You got to play the next game.
Time to move on and go.
You got to move on and go. I don't care whether you won, lost, or what, but you got to keep going.
Sure.
And you can't sit here and say, well, we lost to Alabama. I guess our year's over. Well, they're the number 2 team in the country. It's not an embarrassment. They wouldn't be 1 or 2 in the country. And so you take that and say we could have probably won. But you can't coach from behind. You got to coach from front.
Right.
And in football or basketball or whatever, you can't say what ifs. What ifs? They're over. You don't need it.
I agree. Let's see. We'll find out what happens tonight. But Donnie's giving me that little bat signal, so we'll go ahead and turn the page.
The bat signal.
Yeah, when we come back, local scoreboard with Donnie Moore. He's going to run down what's been going on in the postseason in high school sports. And we'll have Mark It Down with Alcoa Basketball joining us to talk about their region championship. You're listening to the sports page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TBA Employees Credit Union. With KTBA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Klein Dental Arts is your new home for compassionate, worry-free dentistry. You can see Dr. Todd Klein and his staff at their dental home at 1905 West Broadway Avenue across from Weigel's. Klein Dental Arts offers complete dental care for the whole family, including 24-hour emergency care, flexible hours, and thoughtful care for patients with dental anxiety. Let Klein Dental Arts be your new dental home. Discover the difference and find your smile again. Call today at 983-0941. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Welcome back to Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards, who's out with the parrots or something like that, worms or something. I don't know. Mike's not doing well this morning. We wish him the best and speedy recovery to Mike. Along the rest of our crew here. And now it's time for the local scoreboard, sponsored by Mandy B Street Realty and brought to you this morning by Donnie Moore, our local headline legend. What have you cooked up for us this morning, Donnie?
Well, we've got some, as basketball season winds to a speedy close here in the area. We've got our regional championships that were held this week, and speeding on to our sectionals and moving on to the state championships that are heading our way rapidly. On Wednesday this week, we had our girls regional championships, moving on to our sectionals that are being held tonight for the girls, and sectionals that are speeding our way Monday for the boys in Division 1. Starting with our girls in Region 1 2A, held at Pigeon Forge on Wednesday night. Things didn't go the Lady T's way. They went up against Gatlinburg Pittman, the number 1 seed, on Wednesday night, and came up short by 3 points. Man, they sure missed Macy, didn't they?
They certainly did. I mean,
Macy Ridge we're talking about.
That was it. They played so well against GP in the regular season.
Yes.
And you just had the feeling that was just the one little thing missing that kept.
Well, Macy.
And we'll see, because they've still got time to adjust.
They do.
They've got a chance to win their way to state tonight and
Yes.
see what they can do.
They do, but they came up short 46-43. Alcoa was the number 2 seed. Gatlinburg Pittman was the number 1 seed. The tournament was being held at Pigeon Forge on a more or less neutral site, I guess you could say.
That's not a neutral site.
It's really not.
But 10 minutes down the spur for GP.
I know. It really is. But 46-43, Gatlinburg Pittman, and but they may meet again.
Well, I think the way that could work out, that would mean that both of them have done very well, and we're talking about them playing in Murfreesboro in the state tournament.
Yes, you're right. In Region 2 3A, Seymour was victorious over Halls 51-32 in their region championship. Congratulations to the Lady Eagles.
And we've had them on here, and I love what Coach Hernandez has done with that team and that program.
They're doing well.
But they've had a good defensive stand all year.
Mm-hmm.
That's been their thing to hang the hat on, but they are playing exceptional defense right now.
They really are. And in Region 2 4A, what can you say about Bearden? They haven't.
You can
dropped
say a lot about
They
Bearden.
haven't dropped a game so far this season, and they were victorious. They were they're winners over Heritage in Wednesday night, 68-55.
And again, Heritage is a tough test for them.
Really,
Heritage is given every meeting. Heritage has given Bearden just about all they wanted,
all they can handle.
and
You're
it's
right.
just it hasn't been enough. But nobody else has had enough yet either.
Mm-mm.
Nobody else has found a way. So
You haven't found a solution for
It's
the
a-
Lady Bulldogs.
it's a very similar situation to the Alcoa GP thing.
Yes.
They may meet again. We'll find out
And
tonight
they,
whether
they could
that's
do
an
that.
opportunity.
You're right. And in another girls' game on Thursday night, in the Division II, the Single A state semis, Webb Bell Buckle defeated TKA 69-21. Not much of a game right there, was it, Marcus?
Well, it wasn't. Division II. This was one of those. This was the one that TKA didn't want matchup wise.
I understand.
This was there. Anybody else but that one would have been what they were looking for, but they got to the state tournament, and that. You remember, this is a program that we had them on a couple years ago.
Mhm. We did.
We're doing real well, and just phenomenal scoring, phenomenal players, and lost both players.
Yes.
They both transferred to public schools and
Mhm.
finished up their careers and now playing in college. But it took 4 years for Kings to really get their stuff
Right.
back together after losing that type of personnel the way they did.
Understand. Let's move on over to the boys' regions that were held on Thursday. In Region 2 Single A, Greenback took one on the chin from Oneida, 73-43. So Greenback's, Greenback took a pretty hearty defeat right there.
And yeah, they did.
Yeah, we can say that. 30 points is pretty
It's tournament
pretty
time.
hefty.
It's tournament
It
time in
is.
Single A, and yeah, that can happen.
Yeah. Moving on to Region 1 Double A. And we got these guys here to talk about this game here.
Yeah, don't give too much away on this
I
because we
won't.
want to leave them something to talk about.
That's true. Just give you the score. Alcoa 72, GP 55. Payback.
I think we can put in repeat.
Yes.
Yeah, we can throw that in.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
And in Region 2 4A, William Blunt suffered a defeat at the hands of Carnes, 74-69.
Kind of surprised on that one.
Yeah,
that
I
one,
think
I
everybody
was. Did not
No.
see that one.
Very few did. But, William Blunt's been playing really well and just didn't at this point. They didn't do what they had been doing so well. Just kind of stumbled at the gate, at the finish line right here. And but I think they'll come back.
I think they will. We talked with them when they got back from the trip to Florida, where they played some really good teams from Middle Tennessee, in Florida of all places. But they've got the personnel. I mean, they're going to travel on Monday night, but
They do. They got to go up to the defending state 4A champion.
But if you're going what they've said, they
Dobbins
want to play
Bennett.
the best. Well, you're going to get your chance, and
That's
that's
true.
that's
They
your
do.
gateway. So
They gotta
go
go
ahead
to
and
DB.
do that and see if you can get there.
Does Dobbins Bennett still play in that Quonset hut?
You're asking the wrong person on that
Oh,
one.
my
When it
goodness.
comes to making the DB trip, I always assigned it out.
If
'cause I
they
just didn't
do,
want the drive.
They'll have that temperature cranked up to about 90 in that thing, and it'll be tough to play up there.
I told people when it was time to go cover postseason in the Tri-Cities, I'm like, you can go to Pals. And they were all about it. They never thought about it, and I don't have to drive 2.5 hours up.
Oh,
So it always worked out for the best
Goodness.
on that one.
goodness. Well, anyway, if they travel up there, they'll have it well prepared. I know. Coach Wendell will have his team well prepared to play the defending state
And
4A
the William
champs.
Blunt faithful,
They'll travel well.
go to Pals.
They
Go
do.
on to
That's
the game.
right. Go to Pals.
Go support the Govs.
They will do that. I'm faithful of that. I know they will. The William Blunt faithful will travel well. They always do. Well, that's it for the Mandy B Street Realty local scoreboard, and now we will segue to veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons for his feature Mark It Down. You're listening to WKCE 105.1 FM, and 1180 AM Mid-Century Radio.
And thank you, Donnie.
You're welcome.
We usually do the segue with Mike a little bit, but we'll make allowances today, and we've got special guests as we alluded to. We've got Coach Ryan Collins is in, and he's brought a couple of the Tornadoes with him in Brady Hahn and Jovin Carter. Coach, thanks for joining us this morning.
Definitely, thanks for having us.
Donnie gave the score for 72-55, but it was the repeat at regional, and more importantly, it was another win against GP, which has seemed to have been a big thing for this program with the rivalry you all developed with them.
Sure, definitely a good basketball team, a lot of respect. In terms of their program, they feature two very good players. One in particular in Ty Glasper. And anytime you try to beat a team 4 times, it's not easy to do. So beat them twice in the regular season, one of which was a come-behind victory at home, in which we probably should have lost. But to find a way to win a district championship and a region championship is just a testament to the level our guys are playing at. They've been focused all year. They've been mature all year. And to be honest, we've been playing well on both sides of the ball late. And, a lot of that is these two kids next to me. Jovin's been phenomenal all year long, scoring it at a high rate, but he's been defending at a high rate and really getting others easy looks along step of the way. And then in the whole region tournament and some of the bigger games this year, Brady Hahn's been phenomenal. When he's seeing shots go through, it kind of opens up everything for everybody else. And just to have multiple threats on the floor has been big for us as of late.
This is, we talk, it's a tournament sport. You feel like these guys are peaking at the right point in the season, what you were hoping for back in December?
To be honest, everything we've talked about for a calendar year is now right in front of us. It's coming into fruition. And we've been talking a long time now just about building momentum to get to this point. And, last year, unfortunately, Tyner put us out by 2 points in a sub-state game at home. We were literally in the exact same scenario, and we've literally talked about for a calendar year, how to close that 2-point gap. And I think we've done a lot of the right things to earn the opportunity to be back there. And, we're excited, for the moment, and we're going to go in and embrace the moment. And I think we're really going to play at a high level on Monday. And, the kids have had their sights set on the state tournament from day one, and that's been their goal ever since the heartbreaking end of last year. And it's all right in front of us. You just got to go do it. But at the end of the day, Tyner's a good basketball team. It's going to be difficult, but we're excited to be there.
So we'll take you back to this region championship. Coming out of the half, y'all are holding on by 1, 37-36. You get a big run, and I got to ask, were you drawing up to look for Brady, or was this something that just developed on the way that came out on the court? And
to be honest, the first look coming out of the half, we tried to take advantage of the fact that they wouldn't really go guard Eli Owens, so put Brady in a flare screen and kind of come out and go for a jugular. Quick 3 to start the half, some momentum swinging our way. He ended up, they overclosed out, and he put it on the deck, I believe, drove baseline on that play. But I think what happened over the course of him getting shots is we were fortunate to get stops, and it allowed him to get out in transition. I'm sure Jovin's credit to getting him the ball at least one of the spots, but did a good job of sprinting the floor in transition off of stops, and it was just 1, 2, 3. And anytime you can hit 3 in a row and you can follow it with defensive stops, that's a big separating point in the ball game, and I think it was the difference in the game. And, he's been a kid. He's kind of struggled with a shot a little bit at times this year, but he's never wavered in how he's played. You're going to see a kid that just goes out and battles and is tough and, has really impacted winning. He's been awesome for us all year long. But for him to hit 3 in a row like that on the biggest stage was good to see.
And for those who didn't catch the story in the Daily Times or didn't see the game, 3 straight threes from Brady break that 1-point lead into a 10-point advantage. So, Brady, what were you feeling it when you came out of the break? Did you have this feeling that you were ready to knock some down?
I mean, I was ready, but in the first half, I wasn't really feeling nothing. I didn't really get a good look, but I knew we needed to stick to the game plan, and I knew I was going to Job was going to get me the ball more, and I just came out and knocked something down.
When the first one went through, what was the feeling when the first one just went in?
It felt pretty good, but normally I got to see about 2 go through.
So you got 3. So then the question is, you knocked down 3. What happened to number 4?
It looked good.
I was going to say, there was a heat check out there.
No, he really made the 4th one, but they called a foul. Oh, yeah, I did make the 4th one. I missed the 5th one, though.
It was fun for me just because, like, he's a passionate kid. He comes across as really quiet right now and a man of few words, but, like, when you see him play the game, like, that passion comes out. And he was over there chirping a little bit at the sideline and just, really living in the moment. So that was fun to see.
John, well, how did the rest of the team respond as he started knocking them down?
I feel like we had the momentum the whole game, really, except for, like, in the second quarter. GP, we went on a good run in the first quarter. I think it was like 23-7 maybe. But then they threw a hard punch. So going into half, we knew that they threw a hard punch, but we didn't let it stop us. So we came out, he hit 3 threes, and then all the energy went our way, and we found stops, and we just knew from then on that we would get the dub.
Well, we want to say that the 3 in a row made it great, but you knocked down 3 yourself and finished with 25. How did you feel about was that what the kind of scoring average you were looking for, kind of night you were looking for? How did you feel about your game?
Really, like, when my teammates are hitting shots, when Brady's hitting threes, it just opens everything up for me, really. So, like, Brady knocking down 3 threes just makes them back up for me a little bit and focus on him. And then when they focus on him, I can get shots in. So, like, I wouldn't say that wasn't the average I was looking for, but that's just how much I scored.
It feels like the team is kind of flowing a little bit, where there were points this year where it felt like you were the main scoring option and sort of at times the only scoring option, but now it feels like there's a lot of different places that Alcoa can score on somebody from. Is that kind of – do you feel like the ball can go anywhere at this point?
The ball definitely can go anywhere at this point. I feel like coming into a lot of games, the other teams really focus on me, so I'm trying to dish it, and then they knocking down shots. So it's like just focusing on me ain't going to work.
Coach mentioned the game last year at the same time of the season. Very same situation, region championship. You all get to host the state sectional game. Winner goes to the state tournament. Same team. You got to have some thoughts from what this was a year ago and how you want Monday night to be different than it was last year.
The last year game definitely hurt us. I mean, to lose in overtime by 2 points on your way to state, it really hurts. But ultimately this year I just feel it's different. I mean, I feel like we clicking better. I feel like our chemistry is better. We as a team is better. And I feel like we're going to have a lot of energy coming in Monday. We playing at home. We haven't lost a home game since, like, January, so I feel like it's going to be great Monday.
Coach, that's got to be a one that I don't think anybody's talked about a lot, but he mentioned it. Y'all haven't dropped many home games at all since the turn of the year.
Yeah, we've been in really good in a stretch. Like, at some point, like, people kept asking me, well, how many in a row is it? And then it was like, how many out of so many? And at a point, I lost track. And, like, it's a really good thing for you to lose track because that means you've strung a lot of wins together, whether it was on home or on the road. But we have been good at home. We've got a good fan base. We've got a good community. And, we're excited about, tipping it back up in front of them. We know they're going to show up and kind of show out behind us, and there's going to be a game with, a lot of energy with a lot at stake. And, we're excited about it. But we have been playing at a high level, since early kind of January coming off of Christmas. And, the stretch where we struggle the most is football's transitioning. You're trying to figure out who you are and, what everybody's role is, figure it out on the fly. So there was a stretch we looked really bad, but I feel like kind of once we got on the other side of that, like Javan alluded to, our chemistry's been really good, our togetherness is really good, and ultimately, like, we got some good players in our program, and we're very deep in a lot of spots.
Oh, I'll give you a chance to – coaches don't really tend to notice this as much, but I'll give you a chance to shout them out anyway. Student section at Alcoa makes that place a very tough place to play if you're coming in from the outside. They tend to show up and be loud and proud for you all.
Sure. I mean, that's important to us. It's a big deal to be hosting a home game. Unfortunately, we're on spring break this week, so we might have kids in all kind of sorts of directions. But one of the things I love the most about our school and community is just, like, their passion for our athletic programs. Like, it seems like, you know, the school is literally the center of the community. I know our students are going to show up in a big way, and I've challenged these to our guys. Like, they understand the atmosphere we need to have. So it's like, Javin, how many kids can you get to this game? You know, Brady, how many kids can you get to this game? Like, we've already met, you know, with our administration, what can we do to, you know, try to come up with some sponsorships and get kids in free. We're going to try to do some stuff of, you know, offering T-shirts at the door. So hopefully, like, it's going to be a good crowd. And, you know, a lot of times that can make a big difference in the game to have those kids, you know, and our fan base behind us.
And you hit on the head. The concern always comes along is when it falls during spring break, or football when they have that semifinal during Thanksgiving break. Some of those times you got to work to get the students out, but you all have just a great turnout, and I'm glad you all are doing something to help them get there. I don't want to think ahead about state tournament, but you've got a chance to get there, and you're playing for that chance to get there. If you had to kind of break down, but between the 16 teams that are left at this point, how do you feel you all stack up in that? Who's left?
I'll be honest. We should probably ask Javin this question. He knows a lot more about everybody than I do. I'm big on just concentrating on the game in front of us, and you know, when we do get there, if we have the opportunity to get there, then we'll pick up our head and kind of move forward on that. I do know the number 1 team on 2A got upset the other night in East Nashville, so the team that was undefeated. So I feel like, you know, and I would have said this regardless if East Nashville's there or not, like, if you can just get there, it's wide open. And, you know, you always have a chance. It's just a matter of getting there. And that's all we got to do is do our job at a high level, you know, Monday night and just get there. And then, you know, you just get hot at the right time. But we have good players, and, you know, we're fortunate. And, you know, I think a lot of times we're going into games saying we have the best player on the floor. And, you know, he's sitting 2 seats over from me. But it's a big deal to be able to say that. And then you all you know, alluded to it, but our other guys are playing at a high level. Kids like Brady Hahn and Eli Graff and Eli Owens and adding a Brandon Winton kind of in there. Like, we've got other threats that make us a deep team, not just, you know, one good player. And I think that gives you a chance late.
Javin, he put you on the spot, so we'll go ahead and let him do that. Where do you think Alcoa stacks up in the who's left and who can make state tournament? How do you feel you all stack up in that field?
I'm going to just say, if we get there, when we get there, I definitely think we can make it far. We can make history for sure.
That's the kind of confidence you want, right? Sure. Guys, congratulations, first off, again, on back-to-backs on the region championships, because those are harder to hang than they used to be. So congratulations on that. Best of luck Monday night. And if you're out there listening to us and you got the chance to come out and support the Tornadoes, come on out to the Aluminum City and see what you can do for them. But we're going to go ahead and turn the page and take a break. And when we return, the panel presents the the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week.
All right. The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today. Call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered, velvety caramel macchiato, a rich, chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy, non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at stevensontire.net. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland, excellence in service. For over 90 years, Anderson...
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards. And it's time for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week. And if you're wondering where Mike is, there's a rumor he went to go get another dog and never found his way out of North Georgia. But actually, he's just a little bit under the weather. And he's taking the Saturday off, and we'll see him back next week, we hope.
First Saturday he's had off.
First Saturday he's had off in a couple months. So
that's true.
We're joined this morning. We've got, for the Anderson Lumber Company Player of the Week, we've got a couple medal winners coming in from the state tournament from Maryville. And, guys, thanks for joining us this morning.
No problem.
And congratulations on a great state tournament. Hayden, we'll start off with you. Won it all in 285. We talked to you a couple weeks ago. You felt pretty confident about it. How did it feel to finish this off and get up on the medal stand with gold?
Oh, it was amazing. This year, I was supposed to win it, and I did. I had a tough finals match, but that was really about it. Every other match really wasn't too hard. So, but there was a big weight difference all year. I only weighed 230, and they weighed about 285. So,
wow.
And they're all like football players, so they don't know much, but strength.
But they're big.
They're big.
I liked how you put that. They don't know much. And if you didn't see that on camera, he looked right at Coach Arrui when he said that. But it's okay, Coach, because if you take offense, he can pin you. And maybe turn you into a pretzel and dip you in hot mustard. Talk a little bit about that last match, because you were up against a guy from Science Hill that you've wrestled a couple times already this year. Know each other, have a good feel for each other. How are you feeling about that one?
I was confident. I was really confident going in, but it's so hard to beat like good competition 5 straight times, and this was like the 5th time, and it was definitely the hardest one of like them all, and it came down to 4 overtimes, so it was fun though.
And when you get into that situation, when you like after you've done the first one and you're on to the second one, you've got to start thinking, man, what have I got to do to win this?
Yeah, I actually took a shot on like a big 285 pounder, and a shot is like where you basically like get under them, and like they have potential to just land on you, and 285 pounds landing on you is not fun.
Oh.
But I did it, but I didn't get anything out of it.
Yeah, went out of bounds.
Yeah.
So what actually did help you? What did you have to do to actually get this one in the 4th overtime?
My bottom game has always been good my whole career, and so whenever it came down to ultimate rideout, I chose bottom and got up within like 10 seconds, and with like 20 seconds to spare. So that definitely was a big factor, my bottom game.
What did it feel like when they do the announcement and they've got that medal stand sitting out there and you all line up on it? What did it feel to finally to be up there and get the gold?
Oh, it was amazing. I was just smiling and so happy because I've never done anything like that before in my life. So it was exciting.
Well, I'm going to go ahead and ask Thomas as well. not the result totally you were looking for, but still a bronze medal. And I mean, that's one move, one match, one move that very, very close to being the gold you wanted.
Yeah, I was upset. Quarterfinals match, I was coming in really confident, really overconfident. I'd beaten the kid 15-0 earlier in the season, so I didn't think anything of him, and he got the first takedown, and I couldn't get up. So he picked bottom, he got up. I picked neutral, I took him down. Then there's a minute left, it's 3-2, and I went for a big move and just didn't hit it, landed on my back, and lost.
Ooh. It's one of those you're never going to forget, but at the same time, there's so many things you can take out of that.
Oh, yeah. Like, I came all the way back through, and my last match, the third and fourth one, it was a really, really tight match, but it was my 100th career win, that match was.
Fantastic. So
it was pretty cool. And, I mean, every year I went to state, I got a medal, so I can't be too mad about that, you know. Not that many kids have been able to do that.
And you know, you've seen what goes on over there and how it all works. How did you feel about how this one went as far as the Maryville wrestlers that went? Was everybody pretty much hitting where they thought they could be?
I think Peyton Cooper could have won it. You know, I could have easily been in the finals or won it. Cohen could have placed, but I mean, it's the hardest tournament around. Like, anything can happen, you know. If you have one bad day, one bad match, a minute of bad wrestling, and you get down by a point, it's so hard to make that back up. So anything happens. I think everyone's pretty content with how it went, but not complacent, you know.
And I'll read off some other names from around the area, but over at Seymour, we had Samuel Combs, who finished first in the 106. From Maryville on the girls' side, Aaliyah Whaley made it all the way to the finals, lost to nationally ranked girl from Cleveland. I mean, that's a tough draw for the finals, and she put up a good.
She got a takedown, which was pretty impressive on a girl ranked number 5 in the country. You know,
and also over at Heritage, you had Trinity Roberts, who also placed as well.
Yep.
So you had the area had a couple of very good showing.
Oh,
Say the people that got there tended to do well this time.
Yep.
So it was a good day all around, and you know, the question I'm always going to ask, and Donnie knows what this is going to be, is how was the air system? Did they have the rodeo smell cleared out, or did it smell like a wrestling tournament and just smell like wrestlers?
It wasn't that bad this year.
It smelled normal to me this year.
Yeah.
But
well, last year was pretty bad.
It wasn't that. It hasn't been
it
bad.
It gets bad.
Yeah, it can definitely be bad.
It can.
Whenever I was younger and I was going to that tournament, it would be terrible.
Awful.
Yeah, really.
Just smell.
Well, they've actually moved one of the rodeos that used to come in January into December, so it's got a little more time to air out than it used to.
Fumigate.
Yeah. What year are you guys now in school?
We're both seniors.
Both seniors. Are you looking at possibly carrying your wrestling careers on in college? Or?
I'm for sure wrestling in college.
What schools are you looking at right now?
Oklahoma State right now.
Okay, very good. Excellent. What about yourself?
I'm not. I haven't settled down yet. I haven't figured it out. I don't know what I'm going to do. I'm going to be honest. No clue.
Just like most 18-year-olds.
With that, let me interject just a minute right here and tell the listeners out there, you are listening to an interview by veteran sports writer Marcus Fitzsimmons, and he is interviewing Maryville wrestlers Hayden McDonald and Thomas Stadel today. So now you know what you're listening to.
Did I forget to introduce us?
Yeah, you did. But that's okay.
That's all right.
Well,
we'll take care of that.
I'm wearing too many hats this morning. But
I know you are.
Thanks for filling that in.
You're welcome.
We'll still keep you.
Okay.
You're still
I'm glad to know that, because we might be in trouble if I had to leave right now. Well, guys, threw me off track there for a second.
That's okay. You just
this summer
fall right back into line there, Marcus.
Generally, wrestling turns into a full year, not just with the prep schedule, but with the clubs.
Yep.
Does does the club start picking up from this point, or is that a break because you're seniors, or what's the plan there for what you're doing?
I'm planning on going straight into freestyle and Greco. I've been doing that for a while. It's the Olympic style. We're the only country that does folk style, which is what we want. But I'm excited for freestyle and Greco season, and then a couple national tournaments I'm going to go to. Hopefully place well. But yeah.
Yeah, I'm just going to a couple of tournaments. Like this Saturday, I'm going to Georgia and Tennessee. Like the best of the best come together, and then I'm going to wrestle in that.
Good.
That's going to be exciting. Might go to a couple other tournaments down the road, but I don't know yet.
So how does that work when? Because I assume is it like basketball where there's AAU teams, or is there wrestling clubs? How's that organized as far as what you all do outside of the high school?
Yeah, so I usually go over to Heritage during summer and wrestle for their team, but I'm probably going to be bouncing between the Maryville room and the Heritage room. There's no one really around my weight in either rooms that's going to be wrestling too much, so it's going to be hard to get some competition. When I go to tournaments in other states, though, I kind of just enter as an individual and do that on my own. But, yeah, there's clubs in the area that are solid.
And so you all are pretty much on your own as far as entering. You pick a tournament, you're entering it. It's not like you're traveling as a group to go to some of these.
Yeah, the only one we traveled as a group with last year was Freestyle and Greco State. It's a pretty fun one. You know, it's less competitive than the high school state tournament, but it's still pretty fun and pretty good. It's the kids that want to be better, you know.
So when you do that, so you're seeing some of the same people, but some of the guys you might be wrestling against in the high school circuit might be somebody you're working with all in the off season at the club level.
Oh yeah. Like over summer, Michael would wrestle with Nathan McGee in practice, and during season, like we're not buddies with Heritage, but during off season, like I had McGee in my room at every tournament I went to. I took him out like on an 11-hour drive with us, you know.
So there's a camaraderie that goes beyond what we see during the high school season.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay. So Coach kind of got in there about where you all are planning for college, but senior year, you're in the home stretch. It's almost spring break time, and what's the vibe over at Maryville with the class? I mean, how does the last couple of weeks of school year look for you guys?
It's slowing down a lot. Like towards the beginning of the semester, we were like pounded in work, and then now we're just like kind of mellowed out.
Kind of on cruise control right now.
Yeah. And we got our finals coming up, and that's about it.
I really hope you guys get an opportunity to look at, get an opportunity to wrestle. I mean, I know years ago wrestling was so big at the major college level in the South, and that has gone away. But a lot of the smaller colleges, your Division IIs, NAI schools, they have wrestling programs, and you're looking at Oklahoma State, which is one of the premier ones, and it's great that you've been able to accomplish a lot in your high school career. But I would strongly urge both of you guys to use your talents and don't let this be the end.
Yeah.
To keep moving forward, and whether it's going to a school in South Carolina to wrestle, or in Kentucky, or maybe not be that Oklahoma State, but to have that opportunity to continue what you've been doing for most of your life.
Yeah.
I like to see that happen, and I tell that to a lot of players who aren't football players, but there's opportunities out there. Unfortunately, in the South, you don't have as many in wrestling. You usually have to go north or west, or in the Northeast and all that. And so if that's what you want to do, go for it, and don't let this be the end of everything, but continue everything you've built on. And I think you guys would be very successful wherever opportunities you might have out there. But you got to go after it and do it. All right, I'm done. I'm done with my preaching.
Okay.
Get off that soapbox.
All right, good. I'm done.
Yeah, we need the soaps in there. Guys, thanks for coming in this morning. We appreciate it. And congratulations on a great state tournament and great careers at Maryville. I wish you all the best. And like Coach said, if you continue wrestling, we bring up people back when they're in college. So if you go wrestling at Oklahoma State and come back in town for the break, we'll be happy to have you come back on.
Yep. Thank you.
But again, thanks for coming up and getting up on a Saturday morning to come talk to us. It's time for a break, and when we return, it's headlines with Donnie Moore and the Tennessee Smoky Spotlight. You're listening to the Sports Page, and now stay tuned for the best in local sports.
For over 90 years, Anderson Lumber Company in Alcoa has proudly served and supported our local communities. Locally owned, so the money made here stays here. Whether you're renovating a kitchen, bath, new floors, doors, or windows, Anderson Lumber is so much more than a lumber store and can take care of you from design to install. We welcome you to visit Anderson Lumber in Alcoa for all your home's needs, or shop over 67,000 items online at AndersonLumberCompany.com. Anderson Lumber since 1925.
Aubrey's is known for real comfort, real food, real good. But remember, Aubrey's is also really into Blount County. Aubrey's Maryville has been a strong supporter of local schools and sports programs for more than 15 years. From baseball to football, dance teams, and marching bands, Aubrey's has helped schools and youth programs generate thousands of dollars. It's easy for us to do because it's the right thing to do. So the next time you're looking to choose a place to eat, we hope you'll choose Aubrey's. Real comfort, real food, real good. See what's on the menu at aubreysrestaurants.com.
We all want our loved ones to be safe. Denso in Maryville is at the forefront of creating technology for safer vehicles. Join the automotive industry with Denso in a fast, challenging, clean, and safe environment. They offer great benefits and competitive pay, as well as a convenient on-site healthcare facility, cafes, fitness center, and more. Start your future now. Entry-level production positions start at $16 an hour for second or third shift. Visit densocareers.com/Maryville to learn more and apply. Klein Dental Arts is your new home for compassionate, worry-free dentistry. You can see Dr. Todd Klein and his staff at their dental home at 1905 West Broadway Avenue across from Weigel's. Klein Dental Arts offers complete dental care for the whole family, including 24-hour emergency care, flexible hours, and thoughtful care for patients with dental anxiety. Let Klein Dental Arts be your new dental home. Discover the difference and find your smile again. Call today at 983-0941. Merlin's Music World in Maryville is owned and operated by Dylan Davis and has been a fixture in Maryville since 1987. Guitars, amplifiers, lessons, sound system, and video system installations are products available at Merlin's. Merlin's also offers a 24-track digital recording studio featuring audio engineer Rusty Chambers. Visit Merlin's at 1920 East Lamar Alexander Parkway or call 977-0093.
Make the big play with MVP Money Tools from Knoxville TVA Employees Credit Union. With KTVA ECUs, contactless debit card, direct deposits that hit up to 2 days early, credit cards that earn cashback reward points, and loans with competitive rates. Add all 4 MVP Money Tools to build your financial roster. It's everything you need to win financially.
Join us now.
Federally insured by NCUA. Equal Opportunity Housing Lender. Restrictions may apply. Call for details. 800-467-5427.
The Bluetick.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in Maryville. This is Marcus Fitzsimmons, and we're going to be starting on with this week's headlines with Donnie Moore. Before I hand it back to Donnie, I just want to say again, we had some great guests from the high schools this morning.
Yeah.
Both Alcoa basketball and Maryville wrestling, and just a great level of competition so far, and coming off the winter sports as we get into spring with just a lot of success in the area.
Yeah,
really
I mean,
strong
we're
programs.
fortunate. We're in a very good area, and to a point where it's not just one or two sports that dominates this area. You know, it's from all the different sports, whether it's from wrestling and basketball or tennis or different types of soccer. I mean, so this has really been this is just a great area for a young person to be
very
growing up in the
competitive area.
Oh, absolutely.
It is, and we struggle to get as many of them in as we can for the winter sports.
True.
But I mean, we're just a couple of weeks away from spring sports, and there's no. I think if I did the math, if we had every team, we could not get them in enough segments. Even if we tried to schedule every single one, we don't have enough Saturdays left in the year to get them all in here.
Nope,
but
we don't.
But that season is going to open 2 weeks, I think, March.
Yeah.
Not even that, March 13.
We'll do the best we can with
We'll
them.
do the best we can with them.
I think baseball's started in the high schools now, haven't they?
They've started scrimmaging.
Started scrimmaging and all that.
Yeah.
But it's moving on real fast.
My grandson has a track meet today over at Farragut, so
it's that time of year.
I'm telling you.
What's he run?
Moving on. He runs the hurdles, and he runs in the hurdle events, and he does a decathlon too.
Oh,
yeah.
Well, Donnie, lead us off with those headlines.
You got it, my friend. The Orlando Guardians have cut quarterback Quentin Dormady. Remember that name? Quentin Dormady, after he allegedly sold an opposing team plays from the Guardians playbook. Ooh,
that's never good.
That's not good.
He sold the plays.
He sold them plays. The team heard about it, investigated, and released Dormady. They also removed his stats from the XFL website. Dormady spent 3 seasons at Tennessee, first as Joshua Dobbs' backup for 2 seasons before earning the starting job in 2017, but he eventually lost that starting job to none other than Jarrett Garantano.
I'll be daggone.
Yeah.
Well,
obviously he was selling the Tennessee playbook too, because
must have been.
He wasn't winning very many games.
Nope, but he's out on his ear.
The Dormady invasion? What do we?
The Dormady invasion.
I don't.
Yeah, let's call it that.
I've never. Do you go on eBay to do that? I mean, how do you?
I don't know. How do you advertise that?
Who did he send it to?
Uh-oh.
And how much does he supposedly make? It couldn't have been much.
It couldn't have been much. Well, you can't. I don't think he makes much as being a quarterback in the XFL. I don't know. Hey, boss.
So who?
Grab a headset. Join us.
Yeah. Who did it?
Nope. We're on the air.
Yeah. So who did he sell them to?
I don't know. It didn't say what the other team was.
Yeah.
But he's out anyway.
Yep.
Well, South Carolina stayed undefeated at 30 games as the women's SEC tournament continued yesterday. Carolina's latest victim was Arkansas, Ray, 93-66.
Yeah, just don't talk about that.
We won't. I'll be done in just a minute. Victoria Saxton poured in 19 points, and teammate Aaliyah Boston, you know that name well, had her 79th career double-double with 11 points and 10 boards. The Gamecocks advanced to the semifinals today to take on either Ole Miss or Texas A&M. I don't know who won that one last night. You know, Ray?
Let's see. No, I don't.
Okay. Well, they play either Ole Miss or Texas A&M today.
I believe they got Ole Miss.
They play.
Ole Miss.
Ole Miss won that game.
Okay, thank you. So they take on Ole Miss today. Vanderbilt, men's basketball, moving to that. Vanderbilt's leading scorer, 7-footer Liam Robbins, is out for the season with a leg injury. The fifth-year senior left Wednesday's game at Rupp Arena after just 4 minutes after going up for a rebound and landing awkwardly. Vandy head coach Jerry Stackhouse, the most well-dressed coach in the league,
obviously,
by the way.
By far.
By far, you're right. But he said that Robbins underwent surgery to repair a fracture in his lower leg.
Wow.
Robbins led the Commodores with 15 points per game and 6.8 rebounds, along with 82 blocks in 26 games. His 3.2 blocks per game ranked 3rd in the nation. But he's lost for the season.
And Vanderbilt didn't seem to suffer from it because they won the game.
They did win the game.
They won at Rupp.
They beat Kentucky up at Rupp. But and they've been surging lately. They've been playing much better. Hopefully we'll see what they can do in the SEC tournament. But hope they don't beat Tennessee. Major League Baseball pitch clock might have already resulted in the fastest strikeout ever. New York Yankees relief pitcher Wandy Peralta struck out Pittsburgh Pirates infielder Tecopita Marcano. Say that 3 times with your.
I wouldn't even.
No.
I wouldn't even pretend.
We're not going to do that.
He's not from Jersey, is he?
Tecopita Marcano struck him out on 3 pitches in only 20 seconds. Thursday, demonstrating how fast an at-bat can take place with Major League Baseball's new pitch clock. The lefty Peralta got a called first strike and fouled off the second before Peralta caught him looking at strike 3. 3 pitches, 3 strikes in 20 seconds.
Wow.
Pretty amazing.
Golly.
And you got to say, for everything else, it's effective. I think
It
the
is effective.
average time, I think, is down 30 minutes.
Yeah.
Average game time so far in spring training.
Really?
Compared
Really?
to last year.
Yep.
I mean, if you're carving
I'm
that
telling you, that's carving a lot of time
You're
off.
carving that much time off. You're getting a more succinct broadcast and, I guess, more commercial time.
Well, let's don't talk about commercial time. If they cut out half of those commercials, they're not going to do that.
We are
though.
commercial friendly on this show, Donnie.
Yes, we are. They're not going to do that.
But the thing is, what they've eliminated is all the rubbing and picking up the bat and looking around.
They're reaching down the groin area and shift things around.
So you're saying they've eliminated all the things that make it look like cricket from time to time. Okay.
They do not. Like you say, they do a lot of things before they get in the plate. That's what I'm saying, and whatever that is. But that's a waste of time. I mean, and a lot of the guys will do that, and they'll look over, get a signal, then they get up there, and then they'll get another signal.
Yeah.
And I mean, I like that. I watched some of it, and I tell you what, that pitcher. It's almost like as soon as they throw it back to him. I mean, he's
so are they
getting
trying
on
to get
play.
games to be completed under 2 hours? 2 hours.
Well,
I think they're aiming for 2:30.
Maybe.
About 2:30.
Yeah.
Brian Johnston has wandered in off the street and joined us, looking resplendent in his goatees sports page gear.
I'm the only one with both today, lower and upper.
He's looking good.
Well, very well dressed.
Yeah, thank you.
Looking good. What do you think, Brian?
I wanted to mention on that subject you just had there, has anybody seen what Max Scherzer said about the pitch clock?
What did he say?
Well, now the batters only get one timeout. Did you see that's part of it too?
Is it?
I didn't know that.
Wow.
He's doing this thing where he's holding the ball. They get nervous. They call timeout. He said from that point, the pitcher is in control.
This
used
is
to
true.
be the batter.
Yeah.
Now it's the pitcher's in total control. He thinks it's the greatest thing for pitching.
Sure.
Is that because now he controls everything. He was throwing pitches back before the guys could even get set again.
Yeah. Let him go ahead and
They're getting back there and adjusting, and the batters
the
are.
batter,
Yeah,
they're
but
out of the
pitcher's
batter's
ready to go.
box. They go through all their motions and all that.
Let him go ahead and call their
Right.
timeout.
Not
Then he's the boss.
That's
then,
right.
huh?
Not anymore. No more scratching. No more spitting. No more digging. He's going to throw a pitch.
Man, alive.
Yeah.
I tell you what.
Oh, man.
Well, that's a big change.
It is. You're right.
That is a change.
And the bigger bases might result in more steals.
They experimented with that last year at the Smokies.
Yeah,
we
I
saw
knew they did.
How'd that work out?
We didn't see any big changes,
Yeah.
but I know that it was
Not
something
bigger
guys were
change,
talking about
but
a
it's
lot.
3 inches shorter between the base paths.
Well, I'll tell you something else about the shorter games that nobody thinks about because the concessionaires, the people that are there working, it's hard on them having 2-hour games. It's just hard. You don't make what you think you were going to make, and that makes it harder for those folks to try to
especially when
survive.
some of those sales cut off after the 7th inning.
That's right.
I can see that.
Beer sales.
Yeah.
I think that's one of the travesties. You
I
don't
tell
know
what,
when you're going to have 14 innings.
When you've speeded up the pitchers and the hitters, you ain't got time to go get a Coke.
Right.
I
Well,
mean,
and
let
let me tell you what the Smokies did last year to try to solve that because the games were getting way too fast because they were using the pitch clock last year. Was rather than starting at 7, they were starting at 7:15, giving the fans time to get into the stadium, get their stuff, try to get ready.
Yeah.
To have that extra 15
And that's good
minutes.
at Smoky Stadium because it's kind of hard getting in there. You're going up really based off that one exit, and and before the game, it's just lined up. It's hard to get there by the time game time starts and all that. So that's good.
7-inning vacation, though. 9-inning vacation.
9 inning,
Yeah,
9 inning
inning. I'm
That's right.
7. What am I thinking?
Man,
What am I thinking? Softball?
Right.
Double headers.
Well, now
we
everybody's
go.
going to get up there and go to Buc-ee's before the game and hang out.
There you
I
go.
hear that's going to be the happening place.
Oh,
up
it
at Buc-
is. It is.
Yeah, there you go.
You got to get your beaver nuggets.
They're so good. Those things are so good. The white cheddar.
Oh, man.
So good.
Oh, great. Well, let's finish up here. 2 Lady Vols senior basketball players received first-team All-SEC honors, Ray, by the league's coaches.
Well, I think that's what we've got. We've got
Yeah,
two good players.
we've got two good players, don't we?
That's all we got.
Guard Jordan Horston and forward Ricky Jackson were named on the first team. Horston received first-team honors for the second consecutive season, and Jackson, a Mississippi State transfer, was named to the all-conference squad for the first time in her career. The Lady Vols joined South Carolina and LSU to have multiple first-team all-conference players in 2023. And they're recognized by their coaches, by the coaches of the league.
We've said that before. You know, they're the only thing Tennessee has.
Jackson has also been announced as one of 5 finalists for the Cheryl Miller Award. We know that name in women's basketball, don't we? Named for a former University of Southern California standout and 3-time Naismith Player of the Year, Cheryl Miller, the award goes to the top small forward in women's college basketball.
She's sister of her brother was
Reggie
Miller.
Yeah, Reggie Miller.
Right,
the Wendy's hamburgers fan.
Right,
he did
That's what he's
all the
famous
spots.
for now?
Yeah, he does all the spots for Wendy's now.
Okay.
The other finalists are Ashley Jones from Iowa State, Haley Jones from Stanford, Jonna Neepkins, I said that right, from Utah, and Maddie Williams from Oklahoma. So she joins some pretty good company right there.
Yeah.
Small forwards. Cheryl Miller was not a post player.
Well, I tell you what, she was a great player.
She was a great player.
You know, right after her brother
great player
graduated,
for a
then she
brother,
followed-
too.
Yeah. What a combination that was.
Oh, indeed.
The best girl basketball player that girl from Iowa.
Oh, Caitlin, you're talking about Caitlin Clark.
Yeah.
Head and
you.
shoulders above everybody else in the league this
I
year.
tell you what, she can shoot as good as anybody I've ever seen.
Well, here's a stat for you, Ray. The 3-point arc is 22 feet from the basket, right?
Yeah.
Her average 3-point shot is 26.5 feet from the basket. I mean, you got to start guarding her when she crosses the half
I was
line.
going to say, she shoots when she gets across the center line. I've never seen anybody shoot like she
she's
can.
a danger to pull up
And
at any point.
everybody tries to double team her and pick up early. You have to pick her up almost at the opposite line.
Yeah.
Caitlin Clark.
She is something else.
And she's just a junior.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, she's a junior.
Are we going to talk about the women Vols basketball?
We're going to talk about him here in a minute.
Well, we've got a segment coming up.
Okay, good. I just want to talk about the hair pulling incident.
Is that a headline?
No, that's not a headline.
Okay.
We can talk about that in the Lady Vols segment.
What about Neyland Stadium beer? Is that in headlines?
That's not in headlines.
Okay.
So you can leave that for the Lady Vols segment.
Okay, all right.
In fact, that's all for this week's sports headlines. Now let's bring this week's Tennessee Smokies Spotlight into focus. Back to you, Marcus.
Well, we're still here. Former UT assistant football coach, legend Ray Trail, Carson Newman assistant football coach Tony Iruli, and joining us now is Brian Johnson to go along with Donnie and myself. And we're going to put that spotlight on Lady Vols basketball in the SEC tournament, just like Tony was itching for us to do. So, Tony, go ahead. Yeah. Tell us what you saw last night.
I saw the strangest thing. My wife Carol and I were sitting there watching the Lady Vols play against Kentucky. It was a good game. Then one of our players, I forget who it was, comes running down the side of the court, and one of the Kentucky gals reaches out and pulls her by her hair tails, yanks her back and all that, and she ended up getting kicked out of the game and
missing part of her scalp.
Yeah, and I mean, I'm just saying, I've seen a lot of things before on TV, but I've never seen anything like that. And evidently, something happened. She did something the previous game against someone else that she was.
Something like that rarely just happens out of the blue. So there's probably a good backstory in that exchange as to where that started.
Yeah. I'm just sitting there back on a Friday night watching TV, and
I'll tell you what, she about broke that girl's neck.
Man, she yanked her pretty good.
Oh, pretty good. She broke all the way around. Just
yeah. So
I'll tell you what.
But no, I just thought I'd mention something like that.
we'll go and fill it. Lady Vols did hold on against Kentucky
Yep.
last night, got the win, and that game started about, I want to say it was close to an hour later than advertised because there was a leak in the arena.
Yeah.
And we had the previous game was delayed about 45, 46 minutes while they
from the storms.
While they sealed the vent and the ceiling and got the floor dried off, as we've talked about that issue and ongoing.
Well, I thought that the shutter didn't close.
Yeah, the shutter didn't close and let the rain in.
Yeah, let the rain in.
Yeah, that's right. You have wet courts again. You know,
Yeah.
We talked about that earlier.
Well, you know, it's an SEC tournament because we've seen it. I mean, we've had it where down in Atlanta where part of the roof blew off during the SEC championship
That's right. I
game.
remember
We've
that.
had all sorts of stuff go on with the SEC tournament, no matter where you play it. But this time of year, it's weather is, even for an indoor sport, weather is an issue.
Unfortunately.
But the Lady Vols they got the win last night. Kentucky team that would not go away.
Yeah, really. They just kept coming back.
You know, Tennessee had a couple chances to take this game, had the double-digit lead, and could just extend and rest some personnel a little bit, coast a little bit, because they were going to be coming back and playing today. And, you know, if they win today, they're playing tomorrow. But they never got that opportunity. And Kentucky just hung around, had it to 6 points in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
I mean, was right there with the ball looking to cut it to a basket.
Then the hair pull incident.
Well, you had that, and you also had some great moments from the Lady Vols. I mean, a 34-point night. That was one of the top five postseason scoring performances in UT history. That was pretty fantastic to watch. It was also pretty ugly to watch 22 turnovers take place in that game last night.
Well, I tell you what, it was. I really. You can be overconfident, and I think Tennessee went into that game thinking they had it won. Right off the bat, they jumped out, and they thought they were just going to cruise on in because you're playing the 14th team in the conference. There's only won 2 games all year in the conference.
But they managed to win their way to playing on Friday. So
yeah. Well, they upset Alabama to get there, and that was the.
But how could they be overconfident against anybody?
Well, you're in a tournament,
I know.
say,
How could they?
and they just thought they were going to go out there and waltz in.
Well, you could be
and
right,
deal.
Ray.
And they got ahead and they just kind of quit.
Yeah, you're right. They did.
I mean,
they took especially right before half. They took a break and
took
let
a
them
break.
let them make an 11-1 run. And
right.
Instead of going to half with the big lead, they spent the entire second half fighting off Kentucky. Get LSU today, and
come home.
You know, there are matchups where you just. I mean, this is a season where this is LSU and this is South Carolina, and we're going to see who's going to slug.
Yeah.
And woe be to anybody that gets in the way of that.
Woe be.
But for Tennessee to have a chance to interrupt ESPN's plans for Sunday, you can't have 22 turnovers against LSU. You can't have 15 turnovers against LSU, or you're going to be in a 30-point hole. Because they love to run and gun. They love to be in transition. They love to pull up on. They're a good three-point shooting team, but they would rather shoot it on the run than set it up in a half-court offense. They love to play off your turnovers and your rebounds. They are just dangerous. So that does not, to me, that does not bode well for Tennessee as far as holding on to the basketball. That's if you're making 20-plus turnovers in the postseason, your chance to clean that up has come and gone. But anyway, you can tune in. We can tune in tonight. We'll see what happens. We'll see what Kelly Harper can do.
Yep.
What she can get the team get together on. We'll follow that up with the NCAA brackets and see if Tennessee is going to be there. I will say that Alcoa, they didn't say it in here. We didn't ask about them. They're probably happier than anybody that MTSU has dropped out of the top 16 because a couple weeks ago we were looking at the possibility of MTSU hosting an NCAA tournament pod, which would have conflicted with the boys' state basketball tournament and was having people scramble to where they were going to be playing boys basketball next week. So that's not good for MTSU, but good for the high schools. But Donnie, I think we'll go ahead and it looks like we've got some special presentations for the bold predictions. So I think we'll go ahead and cut out a minute or two early, give some time here, and we'll turn the page.
We can do that.
And we'll take a break and present bold predictions.
The Bluetick Tavern is home to the tastiest pizza in Blount County. Try our signature Broadway barbecue pizza, grilled chicken and red onions covered in mounds of mozzarella. Or sink your teeth into our one-of-a-kind chicken and bacon pizza, made with an olive oil base, grilled chicken, bacon, red onions, and covered in Brussels petals. The Bluetick Tavern also has salads, sandwiches, and the area's largest beer selection. Regularly recognized as the best pizza in Blount County, it's the Bluetick Tavern, located at 128 West Broadway in downtown Maryville. Waters Equipment is your East Tennessee New Holland agriculture and construction dealer. Waters Equipment has been serving Blount County for 48 years and has 2 locations in Maryville for sales and service for New Holland equipment. Offering shop and field service for trucks and equipment of all brands, Waters offers equipment rentals for New Holland skid steer, Mini X, and tractors. Call 238-9000 for your rental needs. That's 238-9000. Waters Equipment New Holland. Excellence in service. For over 50 years and 3 generations, the people of Blount County have trusted Stevenson Tire with their vehicles and their families. Our mission has always been simple: to provide quality products at reasonable prices with exceptional customer service. Featuring tire products from Michelin, BF Goodrich, Uniroyal, Bridgestone, Firestone, and Yokohama, Stevenson Tire also offers alignment and brake services at affordable prices. Stevenson Tire Company, 2411 East Broadway Avenue in Maryville. Call 983-1621 or online at StevensonTire.net. Your newspaper? That's right. The Daily Times is your newspaper, tailored to where you live, emphasizing the things that affect you and keeping track of the people and players in our community. The award-winning Daily Times can be delivered each morning right to your door or inbox with the latest in local news and sports. For a 30-day free trial offer, call 981-1100 and begin enjoying your life, your times, every day with the Daily Times.
Dunkin' has what you need to conquer the day. So if you want to go from, I don't got this, to, I got this, well, then get this. A bold, smooth espresso drink from Dunkin'. Like a layered velvety caramel macchiato, a rich chocolatey mocha latte, or a creamy non-dairy oat milk latte. Because this day isn't going to conquer itself. No, you're going to do that. Take a sip of You Got This with Dunkin' Espresso drinks. Order ahead on the app plus earn rewards. America runs on Dunkin'. Price and participation may vary.
The Roger L. Newman Company began in 1984 with a vision of providing Blount County with excellent heating and cooling service. Mr. Newman also wanted a real business. No gimmicks and no high-pressure sales. They just fix it or replace it. They want to stay within your budget and make you comfortable. Their motto still stands true today: call us first, we'll be there. Call Roger L. Newman Company at 982-5446 or visit online at rogerlnewman.com. Cooler temperatures are approaching. Upgrade your furnace now for as little as $50 a month.
Welcome back to the Bluetick Tavern in downtown Maryville, and this is Marcus Fitzsimmons filling in for Mike Edwards. And it's time for the panel's shelter insurance bold predictions this week. And our bold prediction is that we have special guests.
I bet we can make that one come true.
We can. It's happened right now. We're going to let Brian Johnson take over the interview for this segment, but we have Maryville Christian Lady Eagles basketball in the house fresh off their postseason. Brian, give it over to you.
Well, I would say that this does qualify as a bold prediction. Can you guys hear me okay?
Oh, yeah.
You're good.
Because I got to tell you, Coach, I didn't have much hope for you guys this year.
That's thrilling.
Well, because you lost some good players last year.
Yes,
How many seniors did you lose? How many senior starters did you lose?
First, thanks for having us. I apologize for my voice. 3 games.
We're
going to
hold it against you.
So,
okay.
but
That's
yes.
okay. We'll amplify your voice. So
All
you're
right.
doing
Well, I don't
good.
know if you want to do that. Yeah, I lost 3 seniors last year, which were 3 starters.
Yeah. Whew. Now, I mean, how do you recover from that? I mean, really, because that is a blow. And those were girls that had been there for a long time, too. They weren't just come in 1 year start. They were some of the beef of what you needed.
Absolutely.
They
were
were
core
great.
players, but they were also in the top 15 in scoring in our school. So
Yeah.
3 starters, 3 core players, 3 hustlers, 3 defenders. But the way to overcome it is with young ladies like these.
Yeah. So am I reading this right, Naomi? Did you average a double-double?
Yes, sir.
I mean, that's what you do, right?
Yeah, that's one way to do it.
Because it's not about coaching; it's about the girls, right?
Oh, absolutely.
As one of my best friends who's a coach says, it's not about the X's and the O's; it's about the Jimmies and the Joes. Which here are the Jimmies and the Joes. So you seriously you averaged 17 points and 10 rebounds this year?
Yes, sir.
Well, that's pretty dang good. So I hear you're going somewhere after. Where are you going? Where did you sign with?
Milligan University.
All right. So in what position do you expect to play in college?
Probably guard.
Yeah.
Just because height and things like that.
And how tall are you?
5'9".
Okay. And you can handle the ball at 5'9"?
Yes, sir.
See, my son's 6'3". He can't handle the ball. So he's a nightmare. All right. So, and then we've also got Victoria Wright. Victoria, you came over from Heritage?
Yes, sir.
What made you make that decision?
I just met Coach Hudson playing AAU for him last year, and he just gave me an opportunity to play some more.
Okay. Well, so here's my biggest question, because I go to these games, and I watch Coach Hudson lose his mind. Okay? And he's out there, and he's, he's screaming at you. How do you handle that?
Well, after 3 years, you get used to it a
You get
little
used to
bit.
it?
But
Is
yeah.
he the Bobby Knight of women's basketball in Blount County?
Maybe. He might be.
He might be.
Mhm.
Well, see, Bob. Well, if the Greenfield Gunner was here, he'd love to hear that.
He would.
I mean, that's my favorite college coach. That's his
quite
favorite.
likely he's listening. So.
Okay, good. Well, Coach, we hope that you're feeling better, and I was able to get the Greenfield Gunner in there. I also wanted to ask Coach Trail that talking about that girl from Iowa that was the best shooter you'd seen. I'm not going to hold that against you with the Greenfield Gunner not here.
Oh.
He really is the greatest shooter you've ever seen, but he's not here. And you
True.
felt confident dragging him through the mud like that. That's okay. All right, so you guys, this is another stat that I couldn't believe when I read this. This is the first time ever that you guys have won 20 games
That's
after
correct.
losing those seniors. That is unbelievable. I mean, that truly is unbelievable. And it's also that was the first 20-win season in school history.
That's correct. These ladies lost 3 girls last year, and Victoria stepped in, and Naomi and all the other young ladies, they picked it up. And actually, as a matter of fact, last year, 62% of our schedule was against TSSA schools. This year it was actually 70. So it was tougher competition, and they still set school records.
That's amazing. That's going to prepare you guys for college too, playing those TSSAA schools, because we know how it is. I mean, we travel to the smaller Christian schools, and we see that those competitions maybe aren't what you guys are used to, or what you used to with the TSSAA, and you guys still dominated. Well, that's fantastic. So tell us what happened at NACA. You guys breezed through the first 2 games, or did you? Did you breeze through the first 2?
The second one. The first one was a little more difficult, but we had played them last year at NACA, so we kind of knew what we were.
Who were you playing the first game?
Living Water, out
Okay.
of Jacksonville, North Carolina.
Okay. Which is important to know. This is a national tournament. They're bringing teams from all over the country. You're not playing teams just from Tennessee or right here in this region. They're from all over the place. So you played Jacksonville, or you played Jackson, North Carolina. Is that what you said?
They're Living Water
Living
from
Water.
Jacksonville.
Okay, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Okay, and then who'd you have second game?
Faith Christian Academy. They were from Goldsboro, North Carolina, I believe.
Okay. So, and you said the first one was hard, second one you got through, and then take us through what happened yesterday.
Well, that was our 3rd time playing them this season.
Oh, really?
So both times in the regular season we had lost to them by 1 point. So it's kind of tough going in and playing them again.
Yeah.
But started off, we were slow a little bit. We weren't hitting shots, but we just had to find a way to come back. And we did that with hustle and defense.
So how many did you pour in yesterday?
Only 7.
Yeah. They probably focused on you a little bit more, though, right?
Yeah, a little bit.
Well, the word I was getting, because I was getting text updates that you guys were pulling closer, and I thought there at the end you were going to be able to. But hey, still runner-up, national championship runner-up. I think that's
back-to-back years.
Yeah, that's amazing. That really is amazing.
It is.
So what do we have to look forward to next year? You've got Victoria coming
this
back.
young lady right here.
Okay.
Maya Barnhill. Also, I just want to talk about yesterday as well is Ashley Hodges, another senior we have. Naomi didn't have her points game, but there's way more to this game than points.
Sure.
She drew a lot of attention, played a lot of tough defense, hustle. But Ashley Hodges on the books, she hit 5 threes yesterday that helped us close the gap as well. So Victoria hit 2 on her own as well. She's more of a post inside player for us, but she stepped outside of her comfort zone, something she's been working on and hitting threes. So, yeah, definitely have to look forward to Maya Barnhill, Victoria Wright, Cabry Patterson as well as a big-time player for us. So we have 3 core players coming back. The one thing that we kind of don't have is a middle school program that's coming up. We haven't had a middle school program in 2 years, so I've been graduating these young ladies and not having anybody come up. And then I think we've lost 6 seniors in the last two or 3 years now. And then we do have a 6th grade team this year, but there's another big gap. There's 2 to 3 years for that young team to come up. So we're kind of on life support, but thankfully we do have a core to work around.
Have you considered the transfer portal?
Well, that's where I found this young lady.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
We're always looking for I guess you want to consider it fringe players. Maybe you're at Maryville, maybe you're at Heritage, maybe you're at Alcoa, and you don't see a lot of playing time. We'll more than welcome you at our school. We play a tough schedule. We do have gimmies, but I think everybody does as well. And we play on a national stage at NACA every year.
Victoria, do you have any friends you want to try to get to come over?
Oh,
See, now is when you start
definitely.
recruiting. See, we rely on you guys to get your friends to say, oh, man, it was great. Coach Hudson only yells a little bit. Come over and play with us. Do you have any friends like that you want to bring in from AAU to solidify the Lady Eagles?
I definitely do. There's a couple players who we've been not recruiting, but just, telling them about our school and our program and, how great of a coach Coach Hudson is. He just really listens to you, so that's what I was looking for.
What does the NIL money look like at Maryville Christian?
Let me check. I haven't checked lately.
I mean, don't we have to start considering that in high school now, guys?
It's getting that way.
It is.
It's coming.
Well, you notice that in the recruiting news, when you look at the recruits for football, basketball, whatever, they're giving them an NIL valuation. Mm-hmm. So did you see like Bronny James has a $4 million NIL valuation?
Sure.
So do you guys ever think about that, what your nil valuation is?
I would say we might be nil on our evaluation.
So what are you expecting when you get to Milligan? What have they offered? Cars? Boats?
Houses?
Just a little bit of tuition.
There you
which
go.
This
That's
days
what
is
you're
a
looking
lot.
for.
But isn't that great? That's what it used to be. Now it's something wholly different.
Gotten a little far away from the actual sport, and
right.
And I get culture and time changes, but I mean, to me, it's just the opportunity to play at the next level. That's
right.
almost, that should be enough for me. But again, a little bit old school, maybe the Bobby Knight era, but
play the sport you love and
absolutely.
And get an education.
Yeah, I mean, what can be wrong with that?
That's right.
Right. And I've always said this to my boys. There's no better fraternity or sorority in this way than college athletics. Those teammates you make in college, I mean, even the ones you made here in high school too, they'll be with you forever. They'll be with you forever. And all those girls you get to meet from all over the country, those are lifetime friends.
And it's such a small percentage of how many people get to do it.
Right.
That's for sure.
So I mean, to me, again, that's the where it's at type of thing.
Right, absolutely. So how did you guys, coming back from NACA, what's the attitude amongst the girls? Are you guys excited about next year? Do you think you're going to be able to continue this legacy that your teammates have put before you of finishing with 20 wins again next year? Are you going to put this team on your back, Victoria, and drive it to 20 wins next year?
That's definitely the goal with these girls, just to bring them up and, just get them confident in themselves so that some players that maybe didn't see a lot of time this year have the opportunity to come up and, really start making a difference.
Well, and that's what I've seen when I've watched Coach Hudson and known him for a long time now, is he's able to develop players. That's a hard thing in high school anymore. And I've watched you do it. You've done a great job with that. I mean, that's a testimony to you losing 3 seniors. I mean, that's unheard, 3 senior starters, and come back and you guys step up. Now, you were a starter last year, though, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I mean, so being able to replace players like that, that's all coaching. But I'm still going to hope for some transfers for you.
Absolutely.
Maybe a 6'4", 6'5" shooting shooting
great.
guard from another school. Do we have any of those here in Blount County?
No, we do not.
We don't. We don't. Who's currently the best women's player in Blount County that's not a senior?
Wow.
That'd be a tough question to ask on any given
Sure
Saturday.
would.
There's several possibilities.
See, I'm personally still recovering from the Macy Ridge injury.
Yeah, well, Alcoa's probably got a couple right now.
But you could. There's a couple Heritage,
There's a couple of Heritage.
Alcoa.
Yeah, Alcoa and Heritage.
I'm not going to toss those names out there.
No,
but
I wouldn't. I wouldn't
and
purport to give any names out right now.
Then
But
there's
Alcoa's
possibly
probably got 1 or 2. Heritage probably has 1 or 2.
So that's where we need
maybe
to focus.
one at Maryville, maybe one at Samuel
Yep.
Everett.
And see, that's the thing about our style
right.
at our school is, I mean, one thing we didn't mention is Naomi is the all-time leading scorer for the
Really?
females at Maryville Christian.
Congrats.
What's the total?
1640.
1640.
Yes, sir. So the thing about my style of basketball is we are a team, 5 girls on the floor. And I know you hear that, it's a cliche thing, but it's truly how we go. So
Not just a cliche.
she is she is the leading scorer, but there's never been a game where I'm forcing, hey, we need to get Naomi the ball, or we need to do this, we need to get her in this situation. It's just 5 girls working together, and then however the chips fall, they fall. And a lot of times they fell on her, and she stepped up to the challenge.
Well, I also want to mention, you guys can appreciate this. Naomi shot 60% from the floor last year. 60.
And 34% from three-point
Yeah,
line.
how many players, boys, girls, are shooting 60% from the floor? I mean, I know you guys have been watching a lot of basketball this year. It's a different game than it was when we were playing. It's either a 3 or a layup. Nobody's shooting a 10-footer or 12-footer. That's kind of
true.
That's kind of gone. But would you consider yourself a 3-point shooter?
Not up until this year, I would say.
34% is pretty dang strong.
That is.
That is strong. I don't know what Steph Curry's shooting, but it's not much better than that, is it?
I wouldn't think so.
Yeah, I mean that's pretty. So is that something that you intend to focus on more? Because that's part of what the college game has just turned into.
Definitely.
I mean a high school game too, but lots of threes, lots of layups, that kind of thing. Is that something that you've seen as you've grown in coaching?
Oh, absolutely.
That everybody wants to either shoot threes or shoot layups.
Well, and a lot of it's taught that way. It just depends on where you go, and you just got to find the right fit for the program and where you want to go. You look at, I believe it's Alabama, in the preseason, they tape their floor out where there's a 4-point line, and then they have boxes where they want you to shoot, and it's usually either a 3-pointer or a layup. And then, of course, the 4-pointers in practice are deeper out. So it's taught a lot of that. I mean, that is the way the game is going. I wouldn't say I'm 100% on board with that.
Is that good? I mean, honestly, is that good? I mean, it just seems like that everybody wants to shoot the 3. Even the people that shouldn't be shooting threes are wanting to shoot threes.
Yeah, you're 7-footers.
I think this sport and every sport has role players, and you have a specific role. I sit down with each of these ladies at the beginning of each season and say, hey, this is what you've earned in the preseason. If you want a different role or you want a more responsibility, then I need you to do this. So they know their expectations. They know the roles that I want them to play within our team dynamic. There's certain defenses we want to run. Certain players can do it. Some can't. Offensively, I want you to take your shot, and that shot is what you've earned in practice. So I have some players, it's frowned upon, I guess, a little bit, but that can't shoot 3-pointers because they haven't earned the right to shoot the 3-pointers. So that's how we operate. Everybody has a role. Everybody knows what that role is, and if you want a greater role, you have to earn it.
So, but Naomi has green light.
Naomi is one of the few players that does have a green light, but she earned that over this past summer. Like she said, up until this past year, she was not considering herself a 3-point shooter. So she worked on it over the summer, and she developed that skill set. And she earned the right to have that green light at all 3 levels because she is good mid-range as well. So she can shoot deep, mid-range, and take it to the hoop, and she's definitely earned that.
The triple threat. Victoria, what is your strength?
I'd say definitely down low, post moves, or just, elbow moving in from the high post to make a layup.
What are you hoping to grow into next year?
I'm definitely hoping to grow into more of a guard because that's going to be more realistic for me in college because I'm not, super strong or super tall, so definitely developing that part.
Okay. Coach, what do you see for Victoria next year?
Well, I mean, she showed it in our last game yesterday. She knocked down 2 threes in key moments. It's easy to do when you're up a lot, but when the chips are down and you're struggling a little bit and your team needs you, she stepped up big time.
And those free throws get harder, too, when it's tight.
Actually, Victoria led us in free throw percentage at 75% this year.
That's what I'm talking about. There's not a lot of boys on our team doing that either.
Well, that's one thing that, you only have so much time in practice. If you're not working on it on your own, then that's where it's going to show up.
Yeah. Well, great. Well, girls, congratulations.
Thank you.
I can't be more excited for you guys. I'm excited for next year for you, Victoria. Again, keep up the recruiting. 'Cause we're going to need that. Make sure that Coach Hudson, gets the girls that he needs in there. From my side, being there at school, I'll work on the NIL money. Okay, we'll see what we can figure out. Hopefully get some cool stuff going in there. But it was fun to watch you guys this year. It was fun to watch you progress from last year. We always liked watching Jessie Cooper. She was our girl last year, and watching her shoot threes was a lot of fun. But this team has been great to watch, and we're so proud of you guys. I'm sure the boys felt it a little bittersweet that they're there watching the girls play for the national championship while they got hammered yesterday, by the way.
Well, I mean, they played some tough opponents, so they ran up against some tough kids.
I really thought the team they played yesterday was tougher than the team they played the day before.
Well, they did go neck and neck, and they played the day before that. So
yeah. Well, all right. Well, Coach Hudson, Victoria, Naomi, thank you guys for coming in today. We really appreciate it, and hopefully next year we'll be sitting here with a NACA trophy right in front of us.
At least one that says first on it.
Right.
There we go.
Victoria's going to bring home for us.
Absolutely.
All right. Well, thanks a lot, girls.
Thanks for having us. Appreciate you.
Thanks for being here. And, Brian, nice interview. Thank you for guest interviewing today.
Well, I had some other things I want to go over with the girls, like their favorite color, movie, some of the things that really matters. It's funny when you talk about things that the fans care about, they care about that kind of stuff.
Well.
They don't care about how many points you scored. What's your favorite color, Victoria?
Blue.
Blue? Naomi?
Red.
See, look at that.
There
That's
we
stuff
go.
you can't get on a normal show.
Combine them and they make purple.
Okay, favorite movie?
Oh, put her on the spot.
Uh-oh.
I don't know.
All right, Frozen. Naomi?
Moana.
Moana, look at that. See,
there we
that
go.
is good radio.
That's good
You don't get that
radio.
anywhere else.
You heard it first right here on the Goatee Sports page.
That's right.
Thanks, Brian. Marcus, you know what? It's coming. It's time. You got anything else you need? We got about a minute and a half right here before we get out of here.
I'm happy filling in for the Greenback Gardener. So
the Greenback Gardener. Hey guys, we hope Mike, if you're listening, we hope you get out of that prison today and get back home so you can recuperate.
Yeah, get those parrots out of your sinus.
We miss you. That's right. All right, it's time.
And that will do it for today's edition of the Goatee Sports page. Thanks to Aaron Dishmill at Loud Media, our hosts, the Bluetick Tavern, and all our sponsors. For Donnie Moore, Mike Edwards, Ray Trail, Troy Provo Heron, and Brian Johnson at Goatees. Until next Saturday, this is Marcus Fitzsimmons, not the Greenfield Gunner, wishing everyone good sports.
All right, everyone, I gotta go to Knoxville. I gotta go watch cheerleading competition for the next 5 hours.